Alright, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have an unboxing and setup for Scenario 1 of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. So pull up a chair and let's see what's inside the box. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take the lid off the box. And the first thing you'll see here is a sheet that says Welcome to Gloomhaven. And underneath the Welcome to Gloomhaven it says stop, read this before you do anything else. And basically that paragraph there is telling you there's a lot of components in the box, and so this top sheet here is going to help you to organize those components so that when you're ready to play you can start playing as fast as possible. Now there are several different books and stuff here. There's a learn to play guide, a scenario book, supplementary scenario book, rules glossary, city map, and sticker sheet. So here's the learn to play guide, and then here's the glossary, and this is where you can look for rules questions and different things that when you're playing the game, this glossary will help you there. And then here's the supplementary scenario book that was turned upside down in mine. And this just, it has some maps that get attached to the regular scenario book to make for a larger map. And you'll see that when you play the campaign as that goes. Again, I don't want to open and show you anything. And then here's the scenario book. And there's some text to read here when you get started. And it tells you what the rewards are for the first location, but that's the scenario book. And we'll get to that in a second. Here's the stickers that it talked about would be in the game. And then here are the punch outs. There are some boards. Well, I'm going to get those in a second. Here's the map, and it is a map of Gloomhaven. Okay, as you can see down here in the bottom, maybe it's a map of Gloomhaven there. Okay, now we have a bunch of boards. We have some tokens. Here's some damage tokens. Looks like some stun. Usually those are like stun tokens. And then a lot of other tokens here. Here's for the elemental stuff. Some treasure chests. Here's some monsters. And more monsters. And here's the elemental board. But there's some more monsters here. On this punch board. More. Okay, and then I'm not sure what these exclamation points are. I can't remember. But and then here are the initiative tokens here that let you know that once you determine initiative, you can put these tokens in order, so you don't have to keep looking at around the table at the cards to see who goes next. You just put these in order and you just look at these, and it's a quick glance to tell you who is next to activate in that round. Okay, more damage. So what I'm going to do is down here it talks about how you'll get 6 punch board full of tokens and monster standees. So you take them out, there's some plastic zip bags. It's going to tell you how to put the monster standees in the zip bag right here. And then these are just 3 unique monsters that maybe you got a glimpse of when I showed you the monsters. But you put those in the monsters in the zip bags, and then you have a plastic tray with its lid. And that's right here. Okay, so you'll take this plastic tray, and then you'll take many of the tokens, and it shows you right here where to put those tokens. The damage here, the coins here, the status effect tokens here, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and go ahead and punch these tokens out and put them in the tray, and just show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I went ahead and punched out all the tokens. Everything's punched out except for the monster. So every token that comes in Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion has been punched out, and I've put them in the spots where they go as it says on the sheet here. And so as you can see, the damage tokens are here. The gold tokens, the elemental infusion markers are here. Exclamation point, the status effect. I called these stun tokens earlier, but they're traps. The traps, the treasure chest, and some other obstacles are here. And then these tokens I think are new, and they denote when you destroy an obstacle in the scenario book, you put these on top of that obstacle. But as you can see, they all fit in the tray. Now there is a little bit of lift. I mean, I'd say a centimeter or two of lift on the tray, but they do all fit in their spots, and so that's a nice handy thing because storage is a big issue in the big games like this with a lot of components, and they've provided a way to store every single token that comes in this box so that you don't have to worry about that part of it anyway. And so let's move on now. I want to go ahead and set up a scenario. Okay, and before you get into the scenario book, you're supposed to go into the Learn to Play guide here, and there is some text to read, and it just talks, mainly the text just talks about how Gloomhaven is a cooperative game, and so you're going to go through, and when you get to this exclamation point icon here, this yellow one with the blue exclamation point in it, you need to stop and do what it says. And so then it says to get out the scenario book and read the front cover of it. And then when you're successfully completed that, you'll move on to the next scenario in the campaign. So you can go ahead and pause this if you'd like. And you can read the whole text there if you would like to read it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the scenario book. Okay, and this is the scenario book, but I have zoomed in on the text. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you to save you time, but if you would like to pause it, right here, you can read the text for yourself. And then after we read the front cover of the scenario book, we're told to come back to Scenario 1 rules here on page 3. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to page 3. And it says, to start, perhaps you noticed this in the scenario book. And we saw up here, rewards, new location, Roadside Ambush. And this means to take that first sticker from the sticker sheet labeled Roadside Ambush, place it in B1 square of the city map board such that the artwork lines up. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. All right, and then this paragraph here just basically tells us that the map board just helps you know what scenarios are available and which ones you've completed. And then the playing by yourself down here, which you can play Gloomhaven solo, obviously. It says, if you're playing the game by yourself, you'll need to control 2 separate characters. Take note that this is a more complex experience. If there are 2 to 4 players, it is highly recommended that each player only controls a single character. So I'm going to be picking 2 characters because I will be doing the playthroughs solo. And then, so to choose which character to play, find the large and small boxes with the 4 character icons and remove the contents. But before I do that, I do want to talk about the 4 characters are the demolitionist, the red guard, the hatchet, and the voidwarden. The demolitionist says is a melee damage and obstacle destruction is what he focuses on. The red guard is protection and monster manipulation. The hatchet is range damage and looting. And the voidwarden is healing and support. Now, I have looked through some cards. Well, I've looked at the cards from other videos that people have up. So I'm kind of familiar with what they are. And I want to try to get classes that haven't been used in other videos, but I think they've all been featured at least once in some of the other videos that are on YouTube. So I'm just going to pick the 2 I want, and I think I want to go with the red guard and the voidwarden. So I'm going to get those boxes out and show you the contents of those 2. And so here's the red guard, and you see you get some tokens here to mark different things that you may need. And then these cards say halt, you don't open these until it tells you. The big one says do not open this pack until cards until this character reaches level 5. And this one over here, you don't open it until you're directed to do so. But these cards are some of the cards you'll start with. And then so you get a player reference card right here at the top. And then you have his cards, Flaming Sickle, Binding Strike, Twirling Stabs, Shocking Advance, Desert Knight, Shield Spikes, Desert Knight, Flaming Sickle. So you have his cards here for the red guard. And we'll look more at the A cards when I go into the scenario. But that's his cards, and then here's his player board. And he's going to have, he's going to start in level 1 with 10 health, okay? And then there is also some flavor text on the back, and I'll You can pause it and read that. Okay, sorry, my hand's kind of shaky. And then here's his attack modifier deck. So we'll just take a quick look at what's in the attack modifier. You get a bunch of plus zeros, some plus ones, minus ones. There's a -2, +2. That one means that if you draw this one, it completely nullifies the attack, and this one here doubles the attack. Okay, so that's the red guard. And then you also get a pad that you can use to mark for perks, because you get certain perks at different times in the game, and then check marks when you complete battle goals, and then any items he gets, gold notes, XP notes, and all that, the level that he's at. And so you're going to be using this in your campaign to mark all of the things that belong to him and the things that he needs to put in his decks. Okay, and then we have the Warden Box, and that's what this is right here. And here are the cards that you're not supposed to open for her. And then, as I said before, there's some of the tokens that she's going to use. Here's her player board, the Warden, and there's some flavor text if you want to pause it and read. Okay. And then the Modifier Dec that we just went through, and then her personal deck. Player reference card, and then we have Black Boon, Turn Out the Lights, Wicked Scratch, Suggestion, Gift of the Void, Lure of the Void, Wicked Scratch, Signs of the Void, and so on. I don't want to, the reason why I'm not going through these cards is I don't want to spoil the level 2 or level 3 and so on cards. So I will look at either in this unboxing or in the playthrough, I'll show you the level A cards that you work with, but that's the Warden. And here's her sheet to look at, to keep track of her XP, her perks, her battle goals, and the different things you need, items, gold notes, XP notes. And then I'm not going to be playing with the demolitionist, but here's the demolitionist. You know what a lot of the stuff looks like. And there's the demolitionist. It's a quattral. And there is the text for the quattral demolitionist. Okay. And then we have the hatchet. All right, and this is the range damage character. It has all the cards just like the other ones and the pad. But here's the artwork for the hatchet. And here is the text that you can read for her flavor text or his flavor text, the Inox hatchet's flavor text. Okay, and so this information here in this paragraph tells you about what I just showed you, what's in the box, but also tells about the minis. So I'm going to show you the Red Guard mini here that I'm going to be playing with. And there's the Red Guard. Okay. And then we have the Warden that I'm going to take out and show you. There's the Warden. And then even though I'm not going to be playing with the hatchet, here is the hatchet, and I'll take that out and show you that mini. So there's the hatchet. And then I'll be showing you the demolitionist miniature. And here's the demolitionist. All right. Then also in the box you have some dials here. The red side is the health dials, the blue side is the XP dials, and you get 4 of them because you can play from 1 to 4. Well, you have to have 2 characters, but you can play up to 4. You also have some city event cards here. And then you're going to have some item cards. You can see the eagle eye goggles right at the top there. During your attack, gain advantage for the entire attack action. That was, I think, a pretty good one in the Gloomhaven game, and it's coming back in this one. So these are the items. And then here are the battle goals. This one's acrobat. At the top, lose a card to negate suffering 5 or more damage. If you do that, you get that check mark. Okay? And then these are the monster cards. These are some more modifier cards, mainly for the monster. Okay, and so then you have the monster cards themselves that tell you what to do with their initiative over here and what they're going to do with their attacks and everything over on the on that side. You got some standees, or some stands for your standees, and then here are the Ziploc baggies that you're supposed to use to put the enemies into. Okay, so now you have the monster cards. This is the blood tumor, and what it's going to do is, like, let's say you want to play at level 1, you get some sleeves in your box here, and so you would take, if you want to play them at level 1, you would put them in the sleeve like this. So you know that's level 1, and then it tells you all the information you need here for this. And then as you deal damage to the creatures, if there's more than one creature, that's what these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those numbers will be on the standees. And then, like, if you hit number 2 for a certain amount of damage, you just put the damage here in this spot. So that's what the sleeves are for. And then, you know, there's a bunch of other monsters over here. Okay, and then to round out what's in the box, there's 4 boxes that are like this. They have a seal on it, and these are boxes you won't open yet. You're not going to open these until you're instructed to do so. There's 3 more of them in here. Okay, and then these 2 pages, 4 and 5, tell you how to set up the scenario for scenario 1. That's what that is. It's going to be scenario 1 in the book, and it just tells you how to set up everything you need. One thing I do want to mention is down here, and I'll show you when we get to the scenario book, but there's 3 different bars that are underneath the enemies. The top bar is for 2 players, the middle bar is for 3 players, and the bottom bar is for 4 players or characters. And so for me, I'm always going to be looking at the top bar while I'm playing with only 2 characters, and then that'll let me know whether or not I can put a monster in that space or not. And I'll show you that right now because I'm going to go over to the scenario book. Okay, so here's the scenario 1 in the scenario book for the Roadside Ambush. It looks just like what we saw in the Learn to Play guide. I want to read the intro first before I do anything else. It says, "The road back to Gloomhaven has been long, and now to get attacked by vermlings when all you want is a warm meal and a soft bed. Well, it makes you mad. Mad enough to kill these mangy creatures before you collapse from exhaustion. Of course, the vermlings have other plans. They gibber about wanting your coin and the meat on your bones. Nasty things, really. Best to ignore their ranting and end this quickly." Now, I do want to note there are some special rules, and you always want to check that if there's any special rules. And in this case, it says make sure each character's starting hand consists of their 6 ability cards marked A, and then the Vermling Raiders will act on initiative 50 each round, and they will first move their base move value, and then, if a character is adjacent to them, attack for their base attack value. Okay, so now I want to show you the level A cards for both of my heroes that I'm going to be using. Okay, so this is going to be for the Void Warden. And we see here the first one is Black Boon, heal 3, range 3. Now, this blue text here in the middle, that's not always going to be on the cards. But if you're new to the game, this blue text helps you understand what you're supposed to be doing with this card. So it tells you, you are an ally within 3 hexes, heals 3 damage. And then down the bottom, it's move 4, and it tells you move up to 4 hexes away. So that's Black Boon. And then turn out the lights, attack 3, range 3. In the bottom, force one enemy within range 3 to perform attack 2, targeting an enemy of your choice adjacent to them. So it says use the monster's attack modifier deck for this attack. So it just helps you, again, to know exactly what you're supposed to do when you're using these abilities. Okay, Wicked Scratch. One ally within range 2 may perform attack 4. And then the bottom, Move 2, strengthen, range 3. And strengthen means that the character that has been strengthened gets to draw 2 cards from their attack modifier deck, and you use the better of the 2 cards. And so it's called advantage. And you see there in the blue, move up to 2 hexes away, then you or one ally within 3 hexes gains advantage on all their attacks until the end of their next turn. Okay, suggestion, force one enemy within range 3 to perform attack 3, targeting an enemy of your choice adjacent to them. And then the bottom, move 3, muddle, range 3. Now move up to 3 hexes away, then one enemy within 3 hexes gains disadvantage on all its attacks until the end of its next turn. And that's because muddle means that you cause the enemy to have disadvantage, and in that case they draw 2 attack modifiers and they have to pick the one that's worse. And the number in the middle, that would be your initiative value if it's the top card you play. Okay, get to the void. One ally within range 3 may perform attack 2, range 3. And then the bottom, heal 2, range 3. And then lure of the void, stun, range 3. So just straight up stun. One ally within range 3 may perform attack 3. If they do, this ally suffers 1 damage. All right, let's look now at the red guards, letter A cards. First, we have Flaming Sickle, attack 3, range 2. And then the bottom is just an attack 2. Then we have Blinding Sickle, attack 2, range 2, immobilize. Obviously, they can't move if you put that on them. And then move 4 at the bottom. Twirling Stabs, attack 2, target all adjacent enemies. And then the bottom is an attack 2. Shocking Advance, attack 3, immobilize. And the bottom is a move 3. And then Desert Knight, attack 3, muddle. And as I said before, muddle means that you cause that enemy to draw 2 cards, and they have, and from the attack modifier deck when they're attacking, and they have to take the worst of those 2 cards. And then the bottom is a move 4. Then Shield Spikes, 2 adjacent enemies suffer 2 damage, heal 2, range 2 at the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to look at the blue arrows to help us know how to set up. This blue arrow over here says place each of your character figures on one of the 4 indicated entrance hexes. So one of these 4 spaces. And so I'm going to put the red guard up at the front because he's supposed to be like a protector. And then I'll put the void warden right here behind him. And then this here says, this blue one here says, all hexes with a green border are obstacles and cannot be entered. Now the demolitionist can destroy them, though at which point a destruction token is placed on the obstacle and it becomes a normal hex. Now I don't have the demolitionist again, but if I were to destroy this obstacle, this is the token they're talking about. You would put one of these tokens like this on top of it to show that that obstacle has been destroyed and you can now move into that space. Okay. And then this blue one here just tells you, just reminds you that that you look at where all these enemies are, and you see these enemies placed all over the board here. They're all Vermling Raiders. And then, so you look at, and then you look at the rectangles that I was telling you. Now, it's hard to see on camera, but in this space here, the top rectangle is blank. And I've got 2 characters, so I will not put a Vermling Raider here. Also back here, the top space is blank, so I won't put a Vermling Raider back here, but all the other spots do have a rectangle. This one over here is white. This one here, almost right in front of them, is white. This one, all 3 of these rectangles are yellow, which means that's an elite Vermling Raider. And then this one right here is white. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 Vermling Raiders that are normal, and then 1 elite. So I'll go ahead and set those up. Okay, so I've got the enemies on the board. Now when I go to do the playthrough, I'll have the camera angled differently so that you can see them standing up and you won't be just looking down at what looks like just a stand. But they're in their correct spots. There is one more blue arrow right here, but that just tells you that at the end of this, if you win, the reward is you put a new location, a hole in the wall, and you put that sticker on the Gloomhaven map. So that's going to do it for my setup, and I will be doing a playthrough as soon as I can. So be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when scenario 1 of the playthrough is coming out. And until I do this next playthrough, I'll save you a seat at the table.